Hey everyone, welcome to the Body Collective podcast. We're here to change the conversation about weight. We're going to take everything we've learned about shame, unlearn it, and transform it into a source of power. And I'm doing it with some of my greatest girlfriends. You're going to love them. Who am I? I'm Katie Storino. I'm the founder of Mega Babe Beauty. I'm a body acceptance advocate, and I am the co-host of this podcast.
Hi, I'm Hunter McGrady. I'm a mom of two, a plus-size model, body image advocate, and we are going to dive in.
And my name is Ashley Longshore. I'm an artist, an entrepreneur, an author, and an overall wild woman that loves chicken strips and ranch. Let's do this.
My name is Tracy Moore. I've been a broadcaster in Toronto, Canada for over 20 years, and man, has my body changed over my time on television. Let's face it, everyone. We are in a whole new era for the body. With medications on the rise, people seem to be talking about weight more than ever. But how do we do so in a way that feels healthy, empowering, and informed? In this series, we're chatting with friends and experts to help us navigate the hard conversations. They are hard, so we can listen to our bodies, advocate for ourselves, and feel comfortable in our own skin, the most important thing. So no matter what your journey with weight is, and I know we've all been there, please trust this is a judgment-free zone.
And today we are taking weight shaming head on.
Y'all, seriously, let's just get into this.
Before we dig in, we heard from some of our followers about how weight and body changes have impacted their day-to-day.
I've always been a bigger girl. I've always joked that I came out of my mother at a size 12.
I've always had body confidence.
I ended up gaining 80 pounds because of a medication I was taking.
Our bodies change so much over time, but how do I make my brain understand that?
So you guys are all public-facing figures. Tracy, you're on TV. Ashley, you are an artist, and you often use your own body in your art. It's out there. It's visible. I love it. I want it on my wall. And Hunter, you have been on the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, which is like, I'm snapping. Ashley, I'm copying you.
It's unbelievable.
I want to know how you guys deal with having a very publicly facing body and dealing with changes, weight gain, weight loss that goes along with that. Do you get a lot of like online comments about your body?
Oh my God. I mean, when I post the videos of me topless with the animated pasties swirling around, people are like, oh my God, put on some clothes, you fat bitch, you know? And
Isn't it funny how no one is left? So we all have very different professions and no one is left unscathed. And it's funny, I was literally reading this morning, my husband sent me an article because it just came out saying Hugh Jackman is setting an unhealthy body standard by his because he's so ripped. And I'm like, so literally you can't win.
No.
So wait,
it just disgusts me, really.
Yeah.
It disgusts me how people would go out of their way to make a nasty comment about somebody. It hurts.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you about what people, how they are living in their own heads?
Exactly.
Like, I'm very fascinated by it. I'm hurt by it, but I'm fascinated by it. So I had 2 on-air pregnancies. I was a live reporter when I was pregnant the first time. I didn't actually crown and push the child out on air, but people saw my body change.
That's too bad. 'Cause that would have been great.
Not that brave. I show a lot, but not that. So the first pregnancy, I'm a live reporter on the morning show. I stayed all the way until that kid was trying to crawl out of my vagina. So they saw the whole thing. Back on air 6 months later with a brand new job as an on-air talk show host. And 2 years in, I get pregnant again. And I don't get the kind of pregnant where you're just, a basketball in your belly and everything else is skinny legs. No. Double chin, big thighs, big ass. I don't know what my chin has to do with the baby, but this is what happens when I'm pregnant. I get pregnant everywhere. And then after that, it was I could tell you the horror stories about even having to go into my boss's office and tell her I was pregnant the second time around. I waited until my contract was signed. So I was 4 months pregnant and starting to show. Second time around, you show much quicker. And And I said to her, I'm pregnant. And she just, the deepest sigh. She took out her agenda. She took her glasses, put them on her face. She's like, when are you due? And then she said, how fat are you going to get?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
This is a woman who is a mother of two asking me, how big are you going to get? Because so-and-so was on air and you could tell she was so uncomfortable and she got so big and, like, how big are you going to get? Guys, I didn't know what to do. Like,
I'm so sorry that you had to feel that way.
TV,
that breaks my
modeling,
heart.
broadcasting, doesn't matter what it is. People feel the need to jump in and comment on your body. And so I have always felt that not only do people, I'm in people's intimate lives because I'm on in the morning and people are in robes and having coffee and feeding their children. There's an intimacy, but there's also almost a sense of ownership I felt over my body. Viewers wondering what is happening, guessing if I'm pregnant, wanting explanations as to why I'm getting big or why I'm getting small. And it's almost like the public has owned my body. And that's been I found that to be like a real trip, trying to separate their perceptions from my reality and the fact that they want explanations from me as to why I look a certain way. And it's continued. So after the 2 babies, it's like I got out of disordered eating. I was a big disordered eater. So I went from quite lean to much bigger. And then now it's perimenopause. It's going to be an evolution. I'm very separate from the evolution. It's going to be what it is. Yeah. But other people are so damn invested. It's insane.
First of all, I have never been what you would say typically thin or skinny my entire life. I feel like I'm built just like my dad. I got great legs, okay? I got great titties, hair, and personality for days. I don't really have a waist. I've got a belly. I always have, which, by the way, in art throughout the years has been celebrated, that female figure. So I even remember, being as young in like the fifth grade and being like, gosh, I don't look cute in a little denim mini skirt like Alyssa does. She looks so cute. My mom won't let me buy that. And I just remember like being in the dressing room trying to find clothes for schools and my mom being like rolling her eyes because I wasn't, the typical, skinny little kid. So I think some of the shame even started then. Like, well, why am I different? What's wrong with me? And even at this very young age where, look, I felt different anyway. I didn't know I was an artist then. But I, alone in my little room in my closet, really started to develop an inner monologue that was building myself up about the reasons why I love me, not the reasons why I hate me. I didn't like feeling that shame. I didn't like feeling like I had to be like everybody else in the classroom.
This is the part where I think everyone's going to have to grab some Kleenex because we're going to get right into the heart of this thing. So like you guys all said, everyone out there is carrying this same burden, this weight on your head, if you're thin, if you're big, whatever it is. But I wanted to ask you guys about the first places your shame was formed. Was it from your family? Was it from teachers? Was it from kids in the class? Where can you remember having that shame?
When you're 3 or 4, 5, 6 years old and you're just playing and you're not thinking about your body, you're just playing. You're in the sandbox, you're in the ocean. We had gone on a family vacation. I must have been maybe in the 6th grade. So what was I, 10 or 11?
A child.
Yeah. A child, okay, with my little rotund belly and my little legs. And I'm at the beach. We have a family vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, God, girl, I was just, a little beast playing so hard out there, so hard. So I had this little red bathing suit, and it was a one-piece. And my dad had the video recorders that were so big, you had to put them on your shoulder back then. And he's recording. And so we get back home after our trip and we're watching the videotape and my mom and dad are sitting there recording me and they're literally talking about my body. My mother's like, oh my God, look at her stomach. Oh my God.
No.
It was just really, and I'm sorry, I'm already emotional.
No, this is very emotional. And I feel like people listening right now are probably tearing up as well because people can relate.
I had never thought that there was anything wrong with my body, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh my God, my mom and dad, like, oh shit. Like, am I not, is there
And they're
something?
the people you want to make the proudest, right?
Yeah, you do when you're little. I never thought anything was wrong with me. You know, look, my dad and I on Saturdays, we would go wash the cars. We would go to Wendy's and eat a cheeseburger. And then at night, my dad would grill and we would like play ball. And like, I think so much of my childhood was like, my dad and I wouldn't go to church. We would go and get ice cream and then lie to my mother and say we'd been at Sunday school. Like
rascals.
Yeah, I mean, I love my dad. He's so great. But you know, so much of what we were doing was like, let's get food, let's cook, let's have fun. And I was just footloose and fancy free until that moment when I was like, oh shit. But I was young, right? Like in like the 7th grade, and like I'm getting on a scale every day looking. Is
that when did your mom then put you on some sort of program, or did you put yourself on a program?
Let me tell you something, honey. The woman tried to cook like all health food. Her worst nightmare was for me to not be a picture perfect little Southern belle, to the point that like we had no junk food in our house, nothing. So when I would go to spend the night parties, the mom would be like, when my mom came to pick me up, the mom would say to my mom, like, look, if Ashley doesn't feel good, it's because she literally leveled our pantry last night.
Didn't we all, though?
Or like, I would get to my friend's house and I would be like, what drawer is that? And they're like, that's the junk food drawer. And I'm like, you got a whole drawer of Snickers and everything?
I gotta know, did you grow up in junk food drawer houses or not?
No.
I went to my best friend's.
I had 2 houses. I had the very healthy vegan house, and then I had the junk food house. And ironically enough, and this is why not to jump on your story, Ashley, just because Katie had asked it.
Yeah, let's go.
Ironically enough, my mom's house was the house that was junk food. It was any cereal you want, any candy you want, soda, whatever. And because it was so readily available, I was like, meh. Like, and that's how I'm with my kids. I give my children every night their dessert with their regular meal. It doesn't matter. It's not something that I'm like, if you eat this, then you get that. Because I got 2 sides of the spectrum also. The really healthy, like cereal was even that like really specialty grain cereal. And then my mom's house. And I was like, how come when I'm at Dad's house, I want to eat so bad. Like my sister and I would hide Taco Bell. And my brother too. We'd all like go in the car, and then we'd be like, we have to go drive somewhere to throw away the evidence before we walk in. Like we can't just throw it in their trash can, right? But then when we were at my mom's house, it was like, we're not really that into it, right?
Has everyone on this call hid food garbage at some time in their life?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
I felt like my mother was like the warden of the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, when someone's like watching, like, or someone can hear you open cupboards, like, that's why it's like when my kids go into the kitchen, it's like, I'm not watching, I'm not thinking, I'm not hearing, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, take the food, take whatever food you want.
I want to ask you now, because I know that you're doing a lot of the asking the questions. What was your household like?
Thank you, Hunter. My household was absolutely no junk food. I remember wanting this one chicken and a biscuit cracker.
Yes.
Do you know what they still sell
yes.
them? And I was like, I like pulled some like change out of the drawer, and I couldn't get them when I was shopping with my parents. So I walked my little like 9-year-old butt to the grocery store, got a box of chicken and a biscuits secretly, and then ate them on the way home, and then hid the garbage because I was like, I had to have them because I couldn't have them. And I think that's my answer. And my mom is extremely healthy. She's very aware. She's also had cancer 4 times. So she's like very much like in the mindset of like food fuels your body in these certain ways. And so that's her journey. And then my dad is like hiding. Like, oh God, he doesn't listen to this. He doesn't watch anything I do, but he does like my Instagram posts, except for when I'm in a swimsuit. This is what he tells me. He hides like Cheetos under his desk because we're not allowed to have that stuff still in my house.
I just, you know, when we start to talk about this, and my God, I'm glad we're here talking about this. This is so complex.
Yeah.
There are
it is.
so many levels to this.
Yeah.
From, I mean, even me sitting here crying about the first time that my family made comments about my body to why I have the relationship I do with food, to now that we live in this world. I mean, back in the day, we'd get like our little Us Weekly or our Vogue magazine and like sit in our room and look at that. And now it's like the amount of information that we have coming at us constantly with
too much.
people contouring their faces and their
Yeah.
lips look perfect and their bodies and they're this and they're working out of that. There's so much coming at us. This is really a lot.
Yeah. I love what you're saying. And I think what you're talking about is how bodies actually become trends. And when we come back, I want to talk about when did society decide literal goddesses were not acceptable body shapes? We'll be back. And we're back. Something I want to hit on again was that when I started this work, I realized, and actually what got me into the work was realizing that the thin women, the women I was desperately trying to get my body to look like, were actually not happy with their bodies at all. And that's when I realized this is just a universal problem that all women and some men are feeling, and it's actual BS, and we need to change it. Because there's no destination when it comes to size. The 14 wants to be an 8, the 8 wants to be a 2, and everyone is just perpetually unhappy. We talk about wanting to lose weight as women in casual conversation, and that's how I got that information from the skinny women, is because they're showing up and they're like, oh, my arms, this, that. Do you notice in your life that we just actually like talk about this like it's a social dance? You sit down with someone, and how long does it take for them to start bringing up a cleanse, a diet, or whatever they're not supposed to eat?
You can set your watch by it. I could set my watch by it. It's usually 5 minutes. 5 minutes in, I don't know. I thought it was an industry thing for me, but 5 minutes in, someone's going to say, ooh, maybe I shouldn't get the pasta. You know, oh, I didn't work out today. Oh my gosh, I've been working on this, that, or the other thing. The pants aren't fitting quite right. Not so much anymore.
Because I don't hang
I've
out
been
with people like that.
Exactly. That has changed. And I actually almost feel apologetic because there are people that will not mention bodies at all around me now. And I know it's killing them. It's
kind of great, though.
Killing them.
Yeah.
They want to talk about it so badly. But I've put such strict boundaries on the conversations about mine and yours. I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to hear it. It's boring. Like Hunter's mom said,
boring.
It is boring. With all the work we've done, you know, we didn't all just like wake up this way with these positive mindsets. Are there times in your life when you can remember having internalized fat phobia that you've then like projected onto someone else, or you've taken your own shame and treated someone else poorly because of the way you felt?
Here's what I don't like. Here's what I don't like that I've done. I have had a visceral reaction to seeing someone in a very different body than I saw them in the last time. And this could be a celebrity. This could be someone on TV. It could be someone from my life. And I know my thought process, and my thought process is instantly, number one, I noticed maybe they got older, maybe they got bigger, maybe they got smaller. And I noticed right away. And in my head, I'm like, what happened? And I hate when people do that to me.
Yeah.
I hate when people do that to me.
Yeah.
I have a full record on air of what my body looked like for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And trust me, it looks nothing like when I started. And I hate the fact that people always have those reference points.
Yeah.
So for me, I've had to like disrupt my own thought process, because if I don't like people doing that to me, I have to stop doing that to people. I have to stop making their appearance the thing that I viscerally react to.
I think definitely like when I was younger, as far as like projecting onto others, because I thought that being overweight was bad. And I thought that fat equaled bad. Even up until I got signed as a plus size model when I was 18 years old, and I was so embarrassed to say the words plus size model. I was like, this invalidates me. This is like, I'm not a real model then. And that was my internalized fat phobia taking over me all those years. The people that where I grew up, where I went to high school with is wealthy, thin, white, that's just what it is. And that's what I was around. And I had very much so had internalized fat phobia. And it's taken years to unlearn that. And I think that, it's crazy now, what I know now and who I am now, to look back and go, oh my God, I wish I could just hug that girl and say, like, I know you're hurting because of what's been said to you and what you think of other people. But like, my God, there's so much good on the other side of that, and this again goes back to the society that we were raised in. Who were we raised around?
But I've got a point as an artist. This is, if you can't tell, she's a goddess, the Venus of Willendorf.
Why
30,000-year-old sculpture of the ideal, most admired shape of a woman.
It's literally my body.
It's literally my body. Yeah.
But I think go wrong.
Quite honestly, if I had to choose between a statue of a naked man, the David, I choose my girl Venus of Willendorf over here. I just think it's interesting how our perception of wealth, status, and how the body is related to that have changed so much over the years. Why now being super thin and rock hard would be a status symbol versus being curvy and voluptuous. But I think what you've always said, Katie, is that it is that we're all so different, and all of those body shapes should be reveled, admired, shouted from the mountaintops. Look, I just, in my own personal life and how I deal with the BS in the world is for me to look in the mirror and my boobs and my belly and my thighs that touch, and for me to go, girl, there ain't nobody else out there like you. I am like, that crazy tomato you find at the market that's like heirloom with its madness and its curves, and it smells
my favorite
so
one
sweet.
to take home.
That crazy looking tomato.
The best tasting one always too.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, I think what we're talking about here, when we're talking about shame and we're talking about how culture has changed, we're talking about what the image of beauty is for us to really reiterate how exciting it is to celebrate our individual authenticities and all of our different body shapes. That is what makes everything so beautiful.
I love that you are able to combat that negative self-talk with that mirror exercise, and I'm inspired by it. Yes.
Katie, if I don't do that, I'm not going to leave my fucking apartment.
No, it's good inspiration.
How am I supposed to wake up and get on the phone, fight for my self-worth, talk to a bunch of men when I walk into a conference room and tell them to pull out their fucking checkbooks if I have got a situation where I'm not feeling confident or feeling comfortable with my own body? This is my body.
Yeah.
If I'm chubby, which I am, and it's because I'm not, necessarily doing all the cardio I should be doing, I'm aware of that. I'm going to try to do better. I can't lose 40 pounds in one day. I can lose the emotional weight that would hold me down in other areas of my life.
Yes,
and
I love that.
Try to find a way to be fucking happy. Yeah. Carpe diem. Where's the joy, damn it? Where is the joy? There's no joy in me trying to look like somebody else.
I'm so glad that you guys brought this up, because we are going to talk about all that negative self-talk that floats around in your brain right after this break. So it's interesting. Right before the break, you guys were all talking about the shame that's been heaped onto you and how you've actually been able to combat it, because you're like, I don't want to carry this with me anymore. And I feel the same thing.
What do you do, Katie? to get out of that, like, to get out of that slump or to
Shame spiral.
Yeah, like what do you do?
Interesting, because I personally have gotten to the point, like, I when I look in the mirror, Ashley, I like your celebratory stuff you do. I don't do as much celebrating as I should. I feel like I do more just like cutting off negative thoughts, giving some positive spin and moving on. But I like the idea of being a little more or a lot more celebrate.
I like to pick what do I love about my body?
Yeah.
What do I love about me? Not what do I hate about me?
No.
What was great about today? What was bad about today? I want to talk about what was great. I want to talk about, you got to find the things you love.
Yeah.
When I was 16 years old, I had gotten turned away from a modeling job because I was told I was too big. I was a size 2 and I was told I was too big, and they didn't realize, this is literally in their words, they didn't realize how big I was. After that, I remember telling my mom, I said, I don't think I can do this anymore because I am so depressed. I literally hate myself. I hate my body. I hate everything about me. And of course, my mom was like, we're going to get you some help, right? It's funny enough, the therapist was the most popular girl in school's mother. She said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a shower. You are completely the stripped version of yourself. I want you to slick your hair back so you can see your full face. You're wearing no makeup. You are the most bare version. And I want you to look at your body and tell yourself 5 things that you want to love about yourself. And I thought she was being so silly. I was like, first of all, I'm not going to do that. That's so embarrassing. That's so cringy. Like, I'm just going to tell you I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to, I was a bratty teenager. But I did it. I went home and I did it. I was like, I might as well just give it a try, this whole getting help thing, like whatever. So I did it, and I broke down in just, I was so devastated because it was so hard for me to find even one thing that I just wanted to love about myself. I was like, I'm tricking myself. I don't love this about myself. And as I kept going to her, she was like, no, you can learn to love those things about yourself. And she said, I want you to do this every freaking day. And I have done it every freaking day since I was 16 years old.
Have
I
you
don't
really?
sit there every day. You can ask my husband. I'm not standing naked in the mirror every day, but I look at myself every day and I'll tell myself, and yeah, I've done it every single day, but it was really hard for me. It took me a couple years to realize that the things that I wanted to love about myself, like my big hips, I've always had baby bearing big hips, always. And that was something that fucking landed me the cover of Sports Illustrated now.
Exactly.
Wow.
It was something that I thought was going to be my hindrance and something that I was going to hold me back from living my dreams. But the moment I learned to say, you know what if I tried it the other way? What if I just really, I thought at the time, was tricking my brain into loving it. It really ended up leading me into loving these things about myself.
I know a lot of the people who are listening are probably going through changes with their body, whether it's losing weight, gaining weight, perimenopause, menopause, just having a baby, currently pregnant. With all that said, I think the thing that we focus on as a society is weight loss. But I'd like to talk about the shame that can come with weight loss also.
Well, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And the thing is, it's like there's many factors why people want to lose weight. It could be PCOS. It could be simply you just want to lose weight. And that's okay too. I think that we cannot sit here and say, your body, your choice, and then also say, but not here.
Yeah.
I come from, the thinking of, it's your body. Do what you want. But make sure you're being honest with yourself. And I tell my friends this who are on, the shot. I say, listen, do what you want to do for sure. If you want to lose weight, fine. If that's for your health, then who am I to sit there and say not do it? But no, you are not going to wake up And, or not, I'm not saying you're not going to, but you might not wake up and then all of a sudden go, oh, I'm confident.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend recently who, she lost 15 pounds and she said, God, I'm at the weight that I told myself I would be confident in, and I'm not confident. And I said, well, no, because you bought into the lie that weight equals confidence. And you didn't do the work up here in your brain, in your head, first, right? The goalpost move.
I hear a lot from women on my social media that ask me, how do I not pass my own body issues on to my kids? And you guys have shared your stories about the trauma that you received as children. I'm wondering if you have any advice for people about how they can not pass on the shame. How do we break the cycle for the next generation?
Yeah, I always think of this statistic when I think of this idea of breaking the chain, and it's that like the number one predictor of a child's mental health is a happy mother or a happy parent. And just the other day, my daughter, who's turning 14, said to me, Mom, when we would come down the stairs and you had this big smile, I'm getting emotional.
Oh.
You'd have this big smile on your face. It meant everything to us.
Oh.
And what I extrapolate from that is if we're at battle with ourselves, our kids feel that and they see that and they learn that. Mm-hmm. When we have peace with ourselves, they have peace with themselves. Yeah. And so my big project as a parent has been to be at peace with myself. Mm-hmm. So I'm not passing down any of the bullshit that I was raised with. And I think that's the best thing you can do as a parent.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Ooh, what Tracy said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do better than that.
No, I'm not going to even because
I'm
that's,
not touching that.
I would say this. Yeah.
No, the podcast is over.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
They make me
Beautiful,
so emotional, these
Unplug
children.
it.
I know.
Like, they
also,
make me
Tracy,
really emotional.
what a proud moment for you as a mom for a 14-year-old girl to have that much recognition of saying, wow, when mom comes down and she smiles, that's everything to me. That must have been a moment for you like, wow, damn, I did the damn thing with her.
Yeah.
So good on you, mama.
Does that make you so emotional because you have had so much like inner turmoil to get to that point?
I guess it's also because like it reiterates the importance. Like we never think about it. We think about ourselves in isolation, and it's like there's people around us that are learning and
Especially
being instructed
kids.
by our movements. And so sometimes I'm just like falling through this parenting thing, and I have to remind myself, it's like everything I say and not say, everything I do and do not do, it's all teaching them something.
Wow.
And I do feel happy that they can be honest with me. They call me on my shit, but they also tell me when we're doing things right, my husband and I, and it makes me feel like I'm raising good humans.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy to think about. My husband and I talk about this all the time, how one day these little humans are going to roam amongst the world and have their own toxic things dumped on them. And we hope as parents that we have given them the armor and well equipped them to fight that battle, because there is going to be that battle no matter what. We cannot protect them forever. And it's like the one thing we can control is what happens at home, what we say, what we do with them. And therein lies the next generation, right? Which we're trying to break that cycle. So I love that you said that, Tracy.
I have so much respect for you, Katie, but for the moms here. Earlier when we were talking about how complicated this is and how deep this is, more layers than an onion, This being a mother on top of all of these other emotions. I mean, talk about the armor. You guys are so vulnerable. It's so inspiring. Thank you.
Gosh, girl. Oh, I've cried too many. I'm like
know.
literally like.
Can we just say thank you, Weight Watchers, for giving us a platform to even have these conversations?
Yeah, no doubt. Talk about being vulnerable as a big brand. They've really, really done that.
They have.
I love the way that they're evolving with the culture and science, and they're ready for these hard conversations, which is a really monumental moment for them, for us, and just to change the way that we talk about weight.
I was totally waiting for someone to pull the plug because everyone's being so honest.
Same.
And here we are being given this space to be super brutally honest and have these tough conversations. They're conversations that a lot of people shy away from, but here we are having them, talking about weight and all the things that come with it. And so, yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going.
All right. See you guys next time.